Well, they're coming out right now. I tell you what, you're welcome to stay. If you guys, if you want, we got Grover on now. Let's bring Grover in. Grover Norquist. You got a whole panel here, Grover. Nobody wants to get off the air now that they find out you're coming on. Grover.
Yeah,
Grover.
They all want to see Grover. We got Todd wants to see you. Alfredo wants to see you. We got Bert in Oregon wants to talk to you. But Grover,
Doesn't Grover look like $1,000,000?
he does. He lost weight, didn't he? He lost weight. Yeah, you're looking good there.
thank you.
Of course, I lost weight also. You think Alfredo would say that about me? No, I'm like chopped liver. That's okay.
My mother always said, if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, don't say anything at all.
All right, let's get to Grover. Americans for Tax Reform. So Grover, I shouldn't be this way, but I live in Washington, D.C., the cleanest, safest, most beautiful city in America. So I don't really give a rat's tail what they do in Virginia now that I'm hightailed out of there. But the amount of taxes that they've got going to Spamberger in a week is stunning. It's the effect. I heard the effective income tax in Virginia for all these passes is going to be like 15% or something, highest in the country. What's going on there?
Well, it's the playbook that the Democrats have run in a number of states. They take someone and explain because they're a veteran or they worked in the CIA that they're a moderate. Therefore, I'm not quite sure how that translates, but that's their assertion. And they've found people who are very left wing, who look and sound reasonable. The United States Chamber of Commerce endorsed Spamberger when she was running for Congress because they had to some Democrats. This is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. You want to know who to blame for her? She'd have never won if she hadn't fooled the chamber first into supporting her. And of course, she voted for the PRO Act, which is every power organized labor boss has ever wanted to push people around all in one pile. Voted for the whole thing, which the Chamber of Commerce is theoretically opposed to. But so you had people validating her, Chamber of Commerce validating her she was a moderate. She's not a moderate. She's extremely left wing. They wouldn't have put her forward that way. You know, Waltz, the guy in Minnesota, he was the conservative candidate among the Democrats. He once was in a Republican district and didn't always vote to steal your guns and said mining's okay since the entire industry up there is mining. But he was the pick to be vice president by the most left guys in America, Bernie Sanders and so on. They knew his heart. They knew where he was. And then he moved right into the governorship. Mr. Moderate, Mr. Conservative Democrat turns out to be completely left of center. And Virginia just got hoodwinked, as did Minnesota earlier. But what are they going to do? They're going to vote to raise taxes. This last week, I was in West Virginia, and I did an event with the governor. We each gave a speech about. He said, "Here's what we're doing in West Virginia to go to zero. We're going to cut taxes 10% more income tax rates, and then keep going all the way to zero," which they're on path to do. And I talked about how lots of other states are doing this, and he's right next door. West Virginia, if I understand correctly, Virginia used to be part of West Virginia,
Yes.
and they split up. And so they're going to zero, and Virginia is going to New York on taxes. You know, there's a very long border there that you can move to West Virginia very easily. Your factory, your jobs, your work. They're going to be at zero before too long, personal income tax in West Virginia and Kentucky and Ohio. All states close, and North Carolina, by the way, is triggering to zero. They've got half of the way there. South Carolina voted 7 months ago, the House, to go to zero, and the Senate's going to vote in the next 2 months, the exact same bill. South Carolina will be on the road to zero. Everybody, now Maryland is the one place that might scare you away, but everybody else is going to be sucking talent and jobs and investment out of Virginia. It's going to be sad to watch.
Well, I left. So, Alfredo, what do you think of this whole thing? I mean, it's not a very good environment for small businesses, is it?
No, not at all. And Grover, as always, the true oracle there, but absolutely right. I mean, this is going to be devastating for Virginia. Big sucking noise is going to be all those jobs leaving Virginia and going elsewhere. All their surrounding states that have zero or going towards zero. So just a disaster for Virginia.
And Todd, Governor Morrissey, who I'm a supporter of, as we own all those businesses in West Virginia, doing a super job. But he accelerated when he met with Grover. He accelerated with the General Assembly their desire to cut income taxes in response to what Spanberger, to what the Democrats are doing in Virginia, in direct response to that. Because, before Spanberger won there, when I had him on, when he first got elected, he was saying, well, we don't really have a surplus. We have to see what's going on, see how the economy is. We can't defund our state. We have certain things we have to fund. But as soon as he saw what was going on with Virginia, he threw in with the General Assembly and said, we got to get income taxes down to zero as a response to what's going on in the neighboring state. Pretty smart, right, Todd?
Yeah, totally. And look, I'd like
just to clarify, 1 second. Route to zero. He's speeding it up. They've actually passed a law which will take the auto zero over time. He goes, yes, but faster.
Yeah, I would just expand for a moment on what Grover said, because what he described has been the playbook of the far left and the Democratic Party post Bill Clinton. And we have seen people running as moderates. We saw this with Obama. At first, I was very frustrated with the Republican Party. I thought, oh, this is very interesting. We've got a minority. He's well-spoken, all these kinds of things. There could be a lot of good things here. He came across as a moderate. He wooed Silicon Valley into his camp and that kind of thing. And then I read his book and I finished it, and The Audacity of Hope. And I said, this guy is an FDR New Deal Democrat in sheep's clothing. It's very clear. And then we saw it again with Biden here recently, where they found a person who they could run, who would appeal to working class America, would seem like a more moderate voice. And then as soon as he got into office, the far left ran the whole policy and the playbook kind of thing. And so, at some point, it's like, we've talked about before, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. We've got to wake up to this is becoming the standard playbook, and we've got to keep it from happening at the national level. It's one thing when we can respond, which all these states are doing, as Grover said, Florida, Texas, all these different areas, but you get at the national level and we're back into the Biden, movement and that kind of thing. And they're going to come even harder the next time.
Grover, how do we turn this trend around with Republicans getting defeated everywhere between now and November?
Well, hopefully the tax cut being made permanent, the immediate expensing restored to 100% and made permanent will do a great deal to keep the economy growing and strengthen economic growth. If we get a court decision that says you can target, the president has been given by Congress the ability to target a country for foreign policy reasons on tariffs, or to do tariffs for steel and aluminum, then the tariffs that have been sort of tossed around back and forth, 20, 40, 100, that are just terrifying the business community, and they don't know what to make of it. They were told get out of China, they went to Vietnam. They're told get out of Vietnam, they went to Mexico. Then they're told they can't be in Mexico. Literally, I talked to somebody who'd moved her factories 3 times and come up with no new products all year. All they did was respond to where they were supposed to be running things from. If that calms down, we could have strong, he's used some of them for some negotiating, for some purposes that may have worked. But right now, the ones that are bouncing around every morning, just slow economic growth. And if we get a decision from the court, since the Constitution is kind of clear on this, only Congress can raise taxes. And they have given the president the right to target China. You can do that. You can do that. That's legal. Calmness on that front will help tremendously going into the next year. We can have a very strong year with more certainty and the lower taxes that are there. And we need to talk about that and focus on that and talk about that and focus on that. And in the press conference, do not discuss 7 things, because you've just given the press the ability to pick the one you least want talked about, not the one you thought.
I'm there every day. I get it. Grover, I know you got to bounce. Your staff is saying you got a hard out at 8:25. I want to respect that. People want to follow you. Where do they go?
HER.org is our website, and I tweet at Grover Norquist.
All right. Grover,
Good
thank
to
you.
see
Thank
you
you for your
guys.
time. We're going to let you go because you got a hard out, and I don't want your staff to get mad at me. And we're gonna take a call from Bert in Oregon. Bert, you're live with I don't know. We don't have a title for this segment. We got to call it something, but the economic gurus. How's that, Bert? You're live. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. I first want to say I really appreciate you lending me some time with this great panel. And we've spoke before, and so I'm no economist, but there's an old saying that there's them that understands interest and they earn it, and them that don't and they pay it. So I'm here kind of behind Tyler. I heard at the beginning of the show he's moving. And I've thought about something that I'd just like to get out there on the public airwaves. I, at one point, had the chance to carry the note on a house. So I saw it from the perspective of someone that earned a lot of income on a piece of property that I owned, and I saw the principal barely moving for the poor guy that bought it from me. And then another time I bought from a person, he said, I'm going to charge you simple interest. And I'd never heard of it. I don't know what it means, but he says, well, what can you pay? I said, well, I can afford $500 a month. He goes, well, doesn't 5% sound about right? And I said, yeah, that sounds like the going rate. He goes, okay, that's $525 a month. I said, what are you talking about? We just said I could afford $5. But he says, well, you got 500, 5% interest. That's the interest. So 500's into the principal, 25. You get the idea there with the math.
Right. So
Suddenly,
where are you going with this?
that white elephant in
Where
the
you,
room.
where are you
Well,
going with this, Bert?
I'm saying, let's ask the Trump administration to do a one-time for young families, old family, husband and wife. I'd make conditions. If you're going to give money for people to buy electric cars, give everybody a one-time shot at owning a house under those type of terms, and give them a chance to just catch up with their bills.
All right, Bert,
That's where I'm going with it.
not a bad idea because we all know that young people are struggling to buy homes. Interest rates are high. They can't afford it. And young people's home ownership is way down, which really is a long-term problem for the nation because young people, you're supposed to get married, buy a home, have a family, get vested. That's not happening. All those things are not happening. It's not good when you can't buy a house. Todd, we got to go in a couple of minutes, but your reaction to what Bert in Oregon just came up with.
Yeah, well, I think I very much understand the sentiment and the desire to try and help people with this. Effectively, what we're talking about is subsidizing interest rates in some way. Somebody ends up paying for that. And unfortunately, as well-intentioned as that idea is, and it can work well on a one-on-one basis like the time he experienced, but when the national government or the federal government makes a policy out of it and it spreads through the whole system, what tends to happen is it inflates the housing prices even further and pushes them even farther out of reach, which is how we got into this problem in the first place.
Right.
The Fed running these low interest rate policies, and that inflates housing prices. And so I think it works in a one-on-one thing. As a federal policy, I think it ends up making the problem even worse.
All right. I want to thank Bert in Oregon. Bert, thank you for your call. And I want to thank all of our callers, Anthony, Adrian. I want to thank Todd Sheets for hanging with us. Todd, thanks for hanging with us through thick and thin.
Always fun to be with you.
It's always fun to have you on. And follow him on Substack. It's free. Just Todd Sheets, 2 D's, 2 E's. Todd Sheets, follow him there. We've got John McLaughlin, Trump's pollster, coming up. I put his piece out last night. He's not worried. McLaughlin's got polling numbers. He's very happy. We'll see what he has to say when I get back. You, my friends, are on the John Fredericks Media Network, and we're going to be right back. John McLaughlin up next.